Hey guys, this is Goku Boy Bubble Vector. Today I'm going to talk to you about a trip I had at King's Dominion when I was about, it was a few years ago. So I went there, right, and I was hanging out with my friends. I had my dad, who was my friend, my mom, who was a friend of mine, and two friends from high school who were there with me. I went on the roller coaster and I got really motion sick. This is because I have an allergy to things like aromated pirate water. If you don't know what that is, check out my King's Dominion ride-along video. But after I got off, I saw, I went to the bathroom and, I threw up. But then I saw a stand and they were selling, plushies of the characters like, Sonic the Hedgehog. You got like Kirby, Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse it wasn't Disney World though, but they also had Monkey D. Luffy plush. That's why today I'm going to talk to you about One Piece. All the other characters in One Piece are jocks, and why that's a really good thing. One Piece is a show about some very charismatic pirates, and it gets into some extremely dark themes like death and tragedy. This is what differentiates it from the other shows that are afraid to delve into hard topics. And it's about the search for the titular One Piece. You can see the impact of Monkey D. Luffy's adventure on the world around him. So one thing you have to understand is the difference, there's a few kinds of different types of people, and you've probably encountered them in high school. There's one type of person that happens to be called a jock, and there's another type of person that's called the nerd. And then there's a third type of person, which I like to refer to as the girl jock. Now, before you say something about that, I should really say you don't need to be a girl, just a girl, to be a girl jock. It's just a designation that has it happens to be a girl, well, most of the time anyway. So when I'm talking about a character in One Piece being a jock, I'm either talking about them being a jock or I'm talking about them being a girl jock. And the difference between a jock and a girl jock is that a girl jock likes to do sports, exercise, sex, attacks, techniques, training, and fitness. Whereas a girl jock likes to do things like cooking, cleaning, acrobatics, and using magic. Okay, and you can easily divide both of the types of characters into One Piece into these two types. A jock or a girl jock, and none of them. There's no character in One Piece that falls into the nerd category, you see. And a nerd is someone who likes to go onto the computer, likes to play, say, Dota 2, or say, likes to play chess, or draw pictures of his favorite characters in a show or a game, stuff like that. And such like. First you need to understand that there's this fundamental problem in anime where they'll put in too many nerds and too many jocks. And a lot of people have a problem with that because they think when you have a jock in an anime, you have to balance it out with having at least one or two nerd characters so that it seems in balance. But that's wrong. I think that's wrong. More jock characters you have in an anime, the more easily it is to understand when the characters are having a conflict. Right, and my evidence for this hypothesis is the scene in One Piece where they went to the bar and fought the colorful character named Bellamy. Now there's a couple things that you notice there. One, they're going to a bar. This is a normal activity for people who consider themselves jocks. Going to a bar, drinking beer, alcohol, gin, absinthe, martinis. Imagine Nami drinking a pina colada. Now that would be badass. Also water, whiskey, rum, things like that. This is the thing jocks do would also, another thing jocks go through is that they get into various fights. One Piece Monkey, the Luffy, gets in a fight with Bellamy, and there's no enemy therein. Nami is a girl jock. I'll get into that later, and they get into an altercation, and this is one of the most jock-centric moments in the show. And if you really couldn't have had a cool moment like this if they weren't, if every character in the scene was not a jock, if even one character in the scene was a nerd like a Shinji from Evangelion, or Steven Universe from his titular show, we all know it, and some of us hate it, but that's for another video. You would have a problem where the nerd character would try to solve the problem by asking questions, using I statements, saying, if you do this to me, I'll feel this way, diffuse the situation, and that just simply would not fucking happen if you had a nerd character. Now, let's say hypothetically, the character in the show Chopper, let's say he was a nerd character instead of a jock. You'd have to follow around all the jock main characters like Monkey the Luffy and Sanji and Zolo. You'd have to follow them around, and you'd have to solve their problems for him basically by just nerding out all the freaking time. And people like to watch that. People don't like to watch that. So that's the reason people watch One Piece, because they don't want nerd moments, they want jock moments. So Nami is an important character because she is in the show. She is the most prevalent girl jock. There's Nico Robin, who's also a girl jock. There's a few other girl characters here and there. They're most of the, actually no, 100% of the time they are girl jocks. And what a girl jock does is like a regular jock. Instead of solving their problems to reason and intelligence, they solve them through actions. And yelling and shouting and screaming and things like that. And there's this, there's something about yelling and shouting and screaming that's inherent to the human's nature. Where when you hear someone scream, you just you're instantly afraid. Like, it doesn't matter if you're in a threatening situation, if you're alone in a room, if you're stressed out, and you're just going to be afraid when you hear someone scream. It's natural. So kind of in the same way, when a jock does what a jock does and attacks an enemy, you feel jock-like emotions. It doesn't matter if you're engaged with the character. You just feel as jock-like emotions from the attacks. And that's important, see. Now, if we look at another show which is not full of jocks, like Neon Genesis Evangelion, you see in that show we have a lot of problems where the fight scenes would be interjected with those various nerd characters trying to figure out ways around the problem that doesn't involve fighting or combat. Like when Evo 1 is fighting Ramiel, and you know it's constantly cutting to the scenes of the nerds on their computers talking to each other, talking to other people, and that just breaks the tempo of the show, and it just ruins the flow of the writing, and that's really bad. So when a jock character like Luffy comes into a room and he picks a fight with someone, it's just an excellent narrative choice. And I think, like, I like to think when I see narrative choices like this, is like, why can't every artist do this? Why do I have to keep watching shows where, you know, I have to relate to all these nerd characters? Like, even if I'm a nerd, like, whether or not I'm a nerd or a jock, I don't want to watch nerds, you know, because if I'm a nerd and I see a nerd doing really well in a show, I'm just going to become jealous. I'm going to become envious of this nerd character for getting along so well. Like, if he has a girlfriend, if he gets money, if he gets a job, a nice job, he gets a house, you know, I don't like that. I don't like seeing when a character gets that, and I don't get that. But when a jock character does this, you know, it feels nice because it's like I can think, okay, this character has his brawn and his strength, but I have my brains. So even if I were to get into a fight with this character, I could probably outsmart him, but whether or not they could beat me up. And I think it's important to have that sense of comfort while you're watching an anime, because the whole point of watching an anime is that you're entertained. So if you feel existentially afraid for yourself, that's not what you're there for. And existential fear is something I like to talk about a lot in my videos. You've seen in my past videos, and I was doing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video about how Master Splinter is a racist. And he keeps, sending the turtles out to do his work for him, like slavery. You kind of feel this existential fear, like what if that was me in that situation? What if I was the one being sent out to do Master Splinter's dirty work? Splinter sends these turtles in to do a fight. I just see myself in Donatello's position, who, by the way, is definitely a jock-like character. Like I'm afraid, I'm scared. I don't want to be scared when I'm watching anime. I want to be happy. I want to smile. I want to feel joy in my heart, and I want, the entirety of the human race should be entitled to that kind of joy and happiness you feel when you're watching anime alone in your room. And you see jocks beating the shit out of each other. Jocks like Goku jocks, Vegeta jocks, like the fat guy in a Fist of the North Star, the one that he has to punch a bunch of times before he explodes. Jocks like Hamtaro, Mario, Snake, Mr. Raku. These kinds of jocks are the characters that we remember the most. And, it's the kind of characters that we look up to, except for the fact that they're usually so stupid that they can't solve problems using reason and logic, which is something that I personally do most of the time. Thanks for watching. Please favorite, subscribe. Okay, so with all this being said, I feel like this is a perfect example of the state of anime today. You see, the thing is, anime used to be something really special, and I believe that the anime industry has made a sour turn into a world where decent anime is not freaking possible. I should probably save this for another video, but I'm going to say this right here anyway. I feel like after being a fan of anime for so long now, that it's a problem that we could be really hard to fix if we don't take a good, really long look at ourselves and consider what we are as a community could do better. If we take the time to understand what the obvious issues are with the current state of anime as an art form, we could maybe grow to appreciate how older anime used to make us feel, and how to bring that back. Personally, I did pick a show where anime went downhill. It would be Osamu Tezuka's Ghost in the Shell. That is the peak of nerdime. It's non-stop shots of the nerd characters hacking or pushing up their glasses, up their nose. People act like these characters contribute something to the shows they're in, but people need to wake up and realize that these types of characters do nothing but harm. The day people realize that this would be a good day for the animal community, that is all. Thanks for checking out my video. I would like to thank my fans on Patreon. You can also check me out on Patreon. There's a link here. Please consider donating so that I can make this my full-time job. I appreciate the support.
Hello, I'm the video editor for this video, and I'd like to thank Aqualine Levigate Dentifrice, Gross Ward, Denier Thimixthin, Suenix Bandana, Cody Land X Kathleen Catharavusa, Verba Tix McGlimmer Kakalina, Walmer Rex Marcellus Marcellexophile, Patroon, In Edicablex Taintless Jemmy, Anamorphoscope, Ivaranus Davaro, Destructor Peggy, Counterintelligence Bacchanalalia, Wallachia, Intern Greenling, Ormond Botanical, institutionalize, refusal tempi, cerement, Wichita tax cut, countryman remontanti ounce, self-absorbed breech block, wispy hibbert, lethargy all-purpose, kiloliter paebus amadas, spraddle pedaway, sunroom X atrophied, tonry, body chit primatory, intro, Blakely, Coterie Fiana, Viveka, Cage, Pemalapa, Mix, Coppery, Hollow Man, Farcesis, Luther, Norville, Athali, Daubipinat, Vida, Porky, Campion, Contrived Melon, Sacramentarian, Operate, Zin, Barkley X Brian, Naughty Nitrification, Isel, Cali, Stare Respondents, Rebecca Adair, Double-Edged Freddy, Fadden, Strew Slorp, Vantha Jolly X Winburn, Sida, Wealth, Half-Track X Gooseberry, H Sinking Prana, Amund Second X Hymenthroterus, Flagrant Gilmore Elflock, F Emissima Bedstraw, Osteoma Wrangler, Hypostasis Waltz, Meehan Brogdon, Ignoble Gallinaceus Rada, Directory, Gilder Chromatex Jazzia, Injurious Igor and Bonnie, Bronchi Fathead X Biddle, Angus Spacian, Samarin X Marino X Kirkman, Revolution X Daylex Vital, Innate, Single Cross Kaufman, Tushy Palladium, Clavis Steve, Innsbruck XO, Wakesel, Golter Cummins Slake Thinace, Rebound, Wilson Wilt, Lydell, Mikhail Femininity, Mitra, Apis Moscow, Stinger Janice, Boar Scansian Coonhound, Brown, Chansey Cotladen Manny, Scatole, Microfilm Geno Vera, Asquith X Panathiane, Marillaire Lind Music, Tryptophanada Lantiquity, Laughing Heterotheus, Nosology, Bachelor Flack, Meltage Piano Wax Consideration, Rexer Hana, Koi Carinas Carcinate, Lecky Sulfamorazine, Melee, Necking Triplex, Scratchboard, Hollis, Tora, Wicket Keeper, Sham Adiel, Plaintiff Melt, Labellium Zubkov, Matrimonial Goad Bootstrap, Hobby, Conchita Fraternal, Spirula Waits, Nothosex Beneficent, Trip Hammer, Baden Squelch, Heifer, Contradiction, Kudu, Sanfo Touch, Electrothermal Xanthema, Oven Bird Nonplus, Rivi, Erxwiscent Fetter, Heroic Cypress Senpal, Lee, Phantasm, Maddie Matting Showpalson, Unaware Butterfish, Trip X Fung, Lucadian, Algaroment Bathnethendrin, Withem Squidishy, Capius, Lucky Septet, Holtz Peronius, Sorocorientalize, Olathadorn, Hospitmium, Divorce Field, Pike Hale X Namera Ax Peru, Evitable Gunnar Marnie, Glenoid X Disquieting Disconnected, Howsoever, Limbiggers, Autili, Stychinic Coramus Formidity, Broiler Brown Nangara, Pragmatism Sejum Boy, Morphinism Randall, Narine Nandalia, Lobster Beluga, Revere Association Mayo, Bencia Narcissism, Dewey Kaldar, Meddlesome, Distrustant Dancing, Ridigo, Bijuter I Lipborid, Delapico, Lara Jig, Kingery, Reest Rackrent, Mindiola La, Anlas, Wigan Wilda, Full Grown, Intravasation Lake, Ellipticity Leg Day, Ray, Bell, Tilling Nitron, Hanover, Anastasia, Bertram Bertrand, Delbert Burning Jackass, Regula Blintertaining, Strephon Cruciferous, Plantag Net, Iberian Rodenticide, Overland X-Furring Aco, Penelope Plain Ancient, Ask With, Halometry, Redware, Pero Empathy, Thessalonian, Suret Placable Olivieras, Shoals Alexandrovsk, Downwash Karam Lengben, Suduth Permittivity, Charioteer Thibaltophilus, Brightness Ex-Dermatologist, Belinda, Alid is Poppycock, Hoffer Toppertune, Clubwoman Borchet, Percussive Mondrian Sudi Sudnor, Osteotoma Griffy Gaddy, Hereabout, Opinionated Ascarid X Reeves, Zirkle Coney Jed, Zygodactyl, Pez Jisak Cali, Court, Pilchard, Christalex Fossil, La Follette, Mortgage Garon Tox Disestablished, In Hall Box, Mandrill X Robinette Olmsted, Stib Night Alien, Hetzel, Neutral Aspirant Challenge, Blah Theodora, Angela G. Purdom Solange Solano, Maulete Trento Muenster, Fulvus Langley Rid, Dieppe Tears Buckaroo, Vinia Overturn Conjunction, Trapes, Enterostomy, Disobedient, Bill Cups, Rocco, Derek Dariella Fred, Luke Domi, Marnie, Abek Zug Swing, Impossible Rareheskok, Chlorothiazide, Deleba, LM Manny, Recollected Inexact, Deflected Newell Lazzle, Incunabulum Monastral Cheta, Campos Gangrel Withdrawn, Permanence Monik Zwark, Tombach Frosty, Holland Sinclair, Gabber Penetrate Coddle,